Look at the asparagus now. This only just happened. Look how thick. This is very happy. And here's a spear. Look. See? And this is how thick my spear is. That's because I left them, like they say, when they're young. Don't pick them. Let them go. Let them grow these beautiful ferns. The ferns reach out to the sun, take in the nutrients, put it back into the roots, and you grow thicker and thicker and better plants. So I was disciplined. I held back, and is that one that's broken off? Oh, that could even be eaten, that one. That's broken off. So we're going to have asparagus for years to come. I put about 8 plants in, and that's going to be plenty for us. Today I wanted to make this quick video. So for people like myself that are growing asparagus for the first time, although this is my 3rd season, but my first lot, if you like, I want to show you what I believe you're meant to do for your 3rd year asparagus. Now it's recommended that you do not touch any spears, don't harvest them for yourself until the 3rd season. I did harvest some spears in my previous season because my plants were so robust, they were so big, not all of them, but there was quite a few that were so big it was obvious they were healthy enough to take spears from. But in saying that, I only took a few. So I did what is recommended, which is you let the plant go to fern each year, each season until your 3rd season. Goes to fern so that it catches the sunlight goes in from the leaves, puts the energy down into the roots, and you end up with stronger plants. Now when you're picking asparagus, my understanding is you do not pick asparagus if it's thinner than a pencil thickness. Now I prefer it to be kind of shop thickness, you know, the asparagus you get into the shop. I figure you're going to be looking after your plant if you pick from that size upwards. Now if you've got a plant, like I will show you here, I have got a plant that is quite spindly, so it's got very thin asparagus. So technically it's on its 3rd season, but I am not going to pick from that plant. I'm going to make sure that plant is fed and mulched and watered along with the others, and I will let that go to fern. So I will only be picking from the plants that look healthy enough to pick from. So you pick the spears until they thin out. So the plant starts out so thick, sometimes it gets thicker through the season, which mine did last year, but as it thins down, when it gets to the thickness of a pencil, you might want to start thinking about letting that plant rest. So that is what you do. Now what you do not do is let it go to fern if you want to be picking from that plant. You need to watch the asparagus plant, which is very difficult. I found it difficult last year to keep tracks of it because you blink and a week later it was a meat at all. So once you let it go to fern, then it's not going to be as productive for the spears. The plant thinks, what am I doing? Am I going to produce seed or am I throwing up things from my roots? So that is my recommendation, to pick it and keep it cleanly picked until it's weaker and looks like it needs to go to rest, and then you let that plant rest. Now the first year I did not cut it back. You know, you cut all the ferns back when they die back in winter. Mine didn't really die back in winter, so I kind of left it go, and then I cleaned it up just before the springtime. And I did the same the 2nd year. And the 2nd year they were just, like I said, huge. I'll put some footage on the screen so you can see it. I hope I can find it. There is a video of me cleaning up the patch. So in that video, you'll see that patch being tended to. So that is how I would recommend that you pick your spears for healthy plants and look after them. The one thing that they have responded well to is the chicken run manure. So we deep litter in our chicken pen, we fill it up with bush mulch, and we have it pretty thick, and it lasts for months in the pen, and the chickens dig it over. I throw all the food scraps on top of it, so it's been dug into it, and it breaks down in compost. The worms get in there a little bit, but they get eaten if they do. but basically, it's the chickens turning it over like a compost, and the manure getting turned into that, and it gets broken down. So those beds have had 1 or 2 lots of that spread across them over the time I've had them. But in general, I think I've maybe thrown some dynamic lifter on them once or twice, but I don't feed them much else other than keeping them mulched. They respond better if they're mulched. If they're open soil, they dry out too quick, and I find they're not as happy. So I keep them mulched, sugarcane mulch or pine bark mulch. A lot of people don't like pine bark mulch, but it's worked for my asparagus. And as you see in the images, if you're getting asparagus that big, what can I say? The pine bark worked. So you just do what works for you, my friends. But that is a quick video on how to tend to your 3rd season, ready to go, ready to eat asparagus, a wonderful plant that's going to last, they apparently last up to 50 years. So once you put them in, takes a little while before you can touch them, but once you can, you're getting, you know, a couple of times a year all of these beautiful spears, and they'll keep getting bigger. Every 5 years you lift them up, divide them up, and you've got more plants. And the ones that actually go to seed do actually drop little seeds, and little babies will come up, or they're easy enough to propagate from those seeds also, which I have done. My little seedlings are ready to be up potted again. Well, they haven't been up potted yet. That's the tray I grew them in, and then I'll up pot them very shortly, get to it, and we will have little seedlings to either grow on or pass on. So there you go, asparagus. If you are one also that doesn't like the asparagus you buy in the shop, you know, the tin or the jar asparagus, nor do I. I don't like it unless it's kind of blended into something, you kind of disguise it. But fresh asparagus is something else, and the best way I like to eat it is seared in a pan with olive oil or a bit of butter and balsamic vinegar and a little bit of salt. Beautiful. So they're nice, lightly seared in a pan or baked, but the tin stuff, each their own. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.